All right, boys and girls, here is day 18 of our April daily math. Problem number 1 is asking us to draw hands on the clock to show 3:38. So I put the time on here to start, 3:38 hours, minutes, and I moved it to 3 o'clock to start, but I also need to get it to the 38 minutes. And if you remember, we can slide that all the way around, so we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30... There's 35, and we want 38. So 36, 37, 38. Okay, and we're going to be about here then with the blue hour hand. So there we go, 3:38. So it should be pointing just a little bit closer to the 8th than the 7. A little just past that halfway to the third mark over, so 35, 36, 37, 38 right there. Okay. Number 2, write another way to say this time, and it's asking us to go blank minutes before blank. Okay? Well, if we know it's before the next number, and it's the hours is 3, so it's going to be a number of minutes before what? What comes after 3? Okay, so it's going to be 4. So how many minutes before 4 o'clock is that? So let's just count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22 minutes before 4. Okay? Let's zoom in just a little bit more on that one now. There we go. 22 minutes before 4. We could also say there's 60 minutes in an hour. And if we take away 38, more on the floor, borrow from next door. 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 3 is also 2. We match. Way to double check your work. Good mathematicians. Awesome work. All right, here we go. Put a dot at about 3/8 on this number line. So it's a little confusing because there's 0, 1, there's 2 and a 3, right? So it gets a little bit confusing, there we go, on this number line because it's including up to 2 and 3. Well, 3/8 is less than 1. So we really don't need any of that. Okay, so don't let it confuse you. Now the next piece that gets a little tricky, we can, some of us went 1, 2, 3, so it goes there. There's 3/8, right? Well, that's not really right either, is it? So 1, 2, 3, there's only 4 equal pieces on this model that we have, on this number line. So we either need to make more lines or figure out where that dot goes, right? I mean, that's our goal. So let's see, if we have 4 equal pieces, but we want to make 8 because it says that it is 3/8. If we split each one of those into 2 equal pieces, we'll go from 4 to 8, right? We double 4. So I'm going to put a little mark there, 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 and there. Now we should have 8 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we have 8 equal pieces now. So where is that third dot, the dot go on 3/8? So we have 1, 2, 3. It should look like that. So if we look at what we originally had, I know it's a little confusing there. This was 1, this was 0, okay, and there was a line here, and a line here. So where we put that dot is right here, okay, because that was 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, which equals 1/2, right? So right in between the 1/4 and the 2/4 would be 3/8. All right, count by sixes. Oh, I wish I could just perfectly put in the times 6 song by Schoolhouse Rocks, but I don't have it queued up right now, so we're just going to have to do the work ourselves, I guess, right? So we have 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. We know our times 3's songs, so 6 times 3 is 18. We know the rhyme, 6 times 4 equals 24. Okay, we know what 6 times 5 is because we know our times 5's, right? Next is 6 times 6. 6, that's another rhymer. 6 times 6 equals 36. 6 times 7 is always a tricky one. I'm just going to skip that one there for a moment. 6 times 8 is another rhymer. 6 times 8 equals 48. 6 times 9, we can do the finger trick, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is 54. And 6 times 10 is obviously 60. All right. So then we just got to figure out what 6 times 7 was. I think you have the rest down between using different things that you already know. Really, this is about the only one you probably need help with, right? So what is 6 times 7? Well, it's going to be halfway between 36 and 48, right? So let's take, because we're going by sixes, so let's take 6 away from 48. That equals 8 minus 6 is 2, so 42. And let's add 6 to 36. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry it over, 42. So either way, it's 42. 42 is our answer. 6 times 7 is 42. Okay? Just one other quick way to get that, because this is it's kind of a tricky one. Instead of doing 6 times 7, let's just go 3 times 7. Because if you remember, we did our times 3s, right? And 3 times 7 equals 21. And we need 2 of these because 2 times 3 is 6, right? So what's 21 plus 21 equals 42. So if we split 6 in half to 3, 3 times 7 is 21, double it, 42. That is 6 times 7 is 42. All right, last one. And I've been really looking forward to this one. Ask me why. Probably because we haven't done rounding for quite a while. And I really think it's a skill that it's a really good one to have. And if we get out of practice, we kind of forget what we're doing sometimes. So I just want to get that practice shot in here, okay? So again, if we're rounding to the nearest 10, it's going to be a little different than the nearest 100. Rounding it to the nearest 10, we can just about say 700 to start with, right? Now, our choices are either going to be, the nearest 10 is this one, right? Here's our tens column. So it's either going to be 760, or it's going to be 700 and, what's one more than 6? 7. That's the nearest 10. The 0 is going to be in the ones column, otherwise we wouldn't be going to the nearest 10, right? So it's either going to be 760 or 770. Now, if I were to use a number line like we had up above, and we went from 760 to 770, this one right here, remember, look next door, okay? So we look next door, 4 or less, let it rest. So we're going to go down to 760 on this one. If it were 5 or more, we'd raise the score. On a number line, the 2 is closer to 60. 61, 62, or 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. So it's quite a bit further away from 70. So we are closer to 760. Now, 246. Again, we start with a 200. Okay. And it's either going to be 40, because there's a 4 right there, 246. It tells us one of the two answers. And then we add 1 to 4 is 5, so the other answer is 250. So it's going to be one or the other, okay? Now we have to look next door. I see a 6. Is that 4 or less, let it rest? Nope. 5 or more. 6 is more than 5. So 5 or more, which is 6 is bigger, so again, goes up to 250. All right, 503. So we have 500. Well, that's a 0. So we're going to write 0, 0. The other one is 510. So the 3, again, we got to look next door. 4 or less, let it rest. It goes to 500, okay? Just for fun, nearest 100. We have 762. Look next door at the 6. Raise the score. This would be 800, okay? 246. Again, it's either 200 or 300. So the 4 says 4 less, let it rest. It's going to be 200. And 503, it's 500. The 0 Drop her down there. All right, boys and girls, thank you much, and have a great day.